Hi everybody, I'm Chris Van Hillo with the City of Tampa's Visual Arts team. Today I thought it would be fun if we worked on weaving. I've got a couple of different ways we can do this. We can use a foam tray that you get from the grocery store. You can use a piece of cardboard, which is just as easy as this. You can also take a frame and just wrap your strings around that. This one I decided to leave in the frame. I really like that. Several different projects. This is a little necklace that I made. I've got a couple of, here's one that I did where I tried to weave in John Lennon's face and I put it on a drumstick. Here's another one that I did using yarns and different roving wools. It's kind of colorful and fun. I think what we're going to do is we're going to get started with your basic foam tray. I'm also going to show you on the cover of a book. I come up with ways that you guys can do this at home and not have to go out and buy anything. All right, so let's have some fun and let's get started. I'm going to take a foam tray that meat would come in, and I'm going to put a ruler on the end and just line the ruler up with the end. And starting with the 1 inch, I'm going to just draw a little line at every 1/4 inch. Looks like there's already a line there. This one's broken. If you feel like a 1/4 inch is a little too brave, you could do a 1/2 inch. So I have my lines here, and I'm just going to take my pair of scissors and I'm going to cut on that line into the foam. It's very easy to do. Okay, all the way on this side, and then I'll go all the way down on this side. If you wanted to do this on a book, you could just take a book, put some tape at the top, some tape at the bottom, using your ruler. You're going to just draw a little line every 1/4 inch. You're going to go down here and do the same every 1/4 inch. And that way, when we wrap our string around the book, we'll be able to line it up. Once all your slits have been cut, you can take some yarn or some simple string. I like to start in about maybe the 4th one so that I can weave this end in and out of these on the end and go ahead and tape it to the back to just secure it. So I'm going to go ahead and let this fall on the floor. And I'm just going to take this yarn and I'm going to wrap it around the loom, letting the yarn go into the slots. You can use as many slots as you want. You don't have to use them all. I guess you need to decide what you're making. If you're making a little necklace like this, you might want to use 8. Then I'm going to, on the end here, I'm just going to bring it back through and then back through again, and I'll go ahead, just take a little piece of tape and tape that on just for a little insurance policy. Cut that off. Okay, here's our loom. On our book, I've gone ahead and just done it for you. I've just wrapped around where my lines were, and I went ahead and tied it in knots and taped it off in the back just to keep it nice and secure. I have a little bent plastic needle, and I'm going to take some string and just cut it, and I'm going to fold it in half. I like to double my yarn, just makes it a little thicker. Just going to fold this in half, see if I can get it through here. Okay. I'm just going to take my needle and I'm going to go in and out every other one, up, down, in, out, however you want to say that. You see what I've done? And I'm going to pull it through. And I'm going to stop before it gets to the end. I really like to work those threads back in. So since this was under, now I'm going to take it over and then under, and I'm literally just using my fingers. See how I did that? And now I'm over, and then I'm going to be under. Okay. And then I'm going to go under, and I'm going to leave it under, and it'll just stay back in the background. It'll stay behind. You'll never see it. Okay? All right. Okay. Now I'm just going to try to weave around that, so just pretend that's not there. Okay, here I was under, so now I'm going to cross over, under, over, under, over, under, over, under, over, under, and I'm just going to pull that through. Now I'm not going to pull it really tightly, because if I do, I'm going to get this hourglass, so I'm just going to try to make it loose. And you can see by having those threads back in the back, they're not hanging off the sides, which can be kind of sloppy. So I'm going to do this one more time. I was on top now, so I need to go under, under, over, under, over, under, over, under, over, under, over. So as you saw me a second ago, you literally can do this with your fingers. There's another way you can do this. You can use what's called a shuttle, and you're probably not going to have a shuttle sitting around, so you could use a ruler. Okay, this one's now going to have to come over and then go under. So over, under, over, under, over, under. See what I'm doing? Every other one is over, every other one is under. I can turn this, and then I can just take my needle and feed it through here. And when I take that out, I've added, okay? And then you would just do it the opposite on the other side. Okay. I'm going to show you on the book now, in case the book is your method of weaving. Cut a piece of this off. With the book, it might be better to try to use a shuttle, since the reason I like using these foam trays is you can get your hand underneath there, and I just think that's so cool. The book is going to be, you're going to have resistance because you're going to have the book cover underneath. Under, over, under, over, under, over. Not quite as easy. Under, over, under. I'm just going to pull that through. Okay. Now, sometimes also what I do to get started is I'll just go halfway like this, so that my ends, again, are not flopping off the sides, because I just think that's kind of sloppy. So I was under, now I have to be over, under, over, under, over, under. I think this is going to be a little more challenging, like I said, okay? Let's see if I can find a something that we could use as a shuttle. Something that can work well is just a piece of cardboard. So here's some old crochet hook is actually in here, but let's see if I can get this to work. So now we have to go this way, under, over, under, over, under. Can you see me doing this? And then if I can just lift it up enough to get that needle through there. Let's say you don't have a needle. You could use a popsicle stick. You could use a piece of cardboard. Okay, so see how I use that shuttle just to go ahead and weave those? All right. Let's see, I think this ruler, now I need to go over, so this would be under, under, I don't know if I'm in my screen here, under, whoops, under. Okay, now if I tip that up like this and just take my needle, put it through there. Okay, so it can be anything that will open these up for you. Okay, so, and you just push them up nice and tight. Okay, I think I can get one more. So now I need to go, this has to go under, under. So every other one you're going to pick up. And you're going to give it a little like that. Push that through there. And you have your next row. Okay, there you go. There you have it. You can use a fork to push these up. You can just use your finger. I went in the kitchen and found a chopstick, because it's not really fair that I'm doing this with this bent needle that you're not going to have at home. So here's a chopstick. I also decided I wanted to add some purple. So what I did is I just took the end of the yarn and I wrapped it around the chopstick and taped it so it can't come loose. And now I ended with an over, so I'm going to go under, over, under, over, under, over, under, over, under, over, under. And I'm just going to pull this through. Again, you don't want to pull it tight or you'll get that, you'll start getting that waistline. I also went and got a fork because you can literally just use the fork. Your fingers work just as well, but for people who like tools, now we have to go over, under, over, under. You know the drill. Okay, just pull it through. Push it up. So what would happen if we would go, what would happen if we did 2 and 2 instead of every other one? So let's try that. We're going to go 2, 2, 2, 2. We have an odd number, so one of them is going to be, oh, that's kind of fun. Let's try that again. Oh, that's kind of interesting. It's kind of fun that we're seeing our blue through there. I kind of like that. All right. Let's see. What would happen if we did 3? Let's try 3. 3 under, 3 over, 3 under. That'll leave 2 at the end. It's kind of fun too. I'm going to go back to singles, I think, here. I think I'm getting a little carried away. All right, so again, we're just doing every other one, under, over, under, over. This chopstick is a little bit long and it's probably going to cause us some problems in the end. But that's kind of fun. Okay, so I think I'm going to change color here. So again, let's take this through a few to the back. And then, whoops, see what I just did? Brilliant. That was brilliant. That was brilliant. So I didn't cross over. I went the same direction, and that kind of messed me up. So let me correct my mistake here. So when I went under, over, you have to make sure that you reverse it or you're just going to pull out your last row. So it's actually good that I did that. Okay, so since I was under, now I have to go over, and I'm going to take that to the middle and I'm going to pull it through. My tape is catching there. Okay, pulling it through, and then I'm going to cut it and I'll let that live in the back. When it's all said and done, worst scissors in the world. When it's all said and done, we can tie those off in knots in the back, but we're not going to let that show. Okay, so I think we need to go with a contrasting color. I'm having so much fun with this. I had this loopy yarn and I thought, oh my gosh, I have to try this. It's called, I don't even know what it's called. It's called Loops. It's called Loops. It's so fun. Isn't that fun? And then I went in with just some plain old gold, and instead of doubling it, I had it quartered, so I had 4, and I kind of like that little checkerboard effect that it's given me here. Okay, so I really think that's kind of fun. If you happen to have any roving wool laying around the house, I think it would be fun to use. Let's get our shuttle out. So if this was over, I want under, over, under, over, under, over, under, whoops, under, over, under, over. I'm going to pick this up and I'm going to shove this through. It just makes it so much easier, doesn't it? I'm going to shove that through. Okay, I'm going to leave a really long tail, as you can see. Okay, I'm going to let that down. What I want to do is I want to make some loops. So I'm going to take my pen and I'm going to draw this roving wool up. And then I'm going to hold on to this side of it and I'm going to draw it up again. So it's pulling from here, not from there. And then I'm going to draw up, whoops, I just grabbed that orange and I didn't mean to get in there. Drawing that up, holding on to that one. Drawing that up, holding on to that one. So I'm just sticking the pin in there and kind of rotating the pin. I just love how that looks. So yes, I've got it really, really long here on the ends, and I might just go ahead and, you know, kind of fray that out and let it look kind of funky. I don't know yet. I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet. All right. But now I know what I need to do is I need to come in here and do a couple of really tight rows to secure that down. Wow, it's got a lot of texture in it. It's not quite the same color, but I've gone back to the same theme of what I had used up top there. And I also went back to my bent needle. Just going to go under, over, under, over. And I'm really going to secure that up. I might go ahead and leave those tails there because I might tie them in when it's all said and done. Now I'm under, over, under, over, under, over. Okay. And I really want to secure that in. I'm pushing it up really tight. I think I can get one more. Let's see. All right. Got it. All righty. Now I'm going to go ahead and try to hide this. So I'm going to go like this. And then I'm going to bring it up through. Really did pull it up a little tight, but I kind of hid that end in now so you can't see it. I think I'm going to add in a little bit more of this, a little bit more of this, and then I'm going to end it off. Stay tuned. I've added in a couple more rows of the marigold, and I just wanted to show you this again because I don't think I explained it well last time. I'm under now. I'm going to go over, under, over, under, over, and then I'm going to bring this under, and the cord I will then cut off in the back, and that's my way of hiding in the ends, the tail. So I'll just cut that in the back. I have this thing long enough. I think I'm going to go ahead and end it. One thing I really like to do with my weaves is I like to weave in little sticks. I forgot to do that in the center. I like to do it all the way through, but I am going to go ahead and do it at the top and at the bottom. So I'm going to turn my tray over, and I'm going to cut with the worst scissors in Tampa all of my strings off. Okay, and then I turn my foam tray back over, and I'm just going to add 2 at a time. I'm going to pull 2 out, and I'm going to tie an overhand knot just to secure. Okay, so there's the first one, and you can go ahead and do a square knot if you want to make sure you really locked them in well. Okay, so there's the first one. Then I'm going to take out the next 2. You need to do this, you need to tie these knots the minute you cut your strings because it's going to relax your tension and your weave could start to come undone. So the minute you cut those strings, go ahead and tie them off. Remember, we don't have an equal amount of warps. I didn't even talk about warps and wefts. I'm sorry. We'll do that in the next video. The strings that came down your loom were your warps, and the yarn that you wove in were your wefts. So your warps traditionally go vertical and your wefts go horizontal. I'm just going to take this last one, okay, and I'm just going to tie it to this one here. And I'm going to go ahead and tie off the other end just to make sure I explain that clearly on these strings that you cut off at the end and tied your knot. You need to make sure one is under the stick and one is over the stick so that when you tie in your knot, you're sure that you're tying down the stick, and you need to make sure you double that. So tie a double knot. Okay. So again, if I have one over and one under, I need to make sure I bring this over. I have that one under. And I'm just tying a double knot. See how easy that was? One here. So I need to bring that up here. I kind of left this stick big. I figured I could cut it down when I was done. I have my I like how that little stick comes down. I'm going to hide all of these behind there, and then I will tie a string here. And I think I'm going to go ahead and put a little stick at the bottom too. Tying the bottom stick on just like I did the top. I have one under and one over. Okay, there's one under, there's one over, there's one under, there's, while I'm here I might as well just go ahead and do them. Alright, so this one gets tied on. Okay, okay, and on this one, as we had before, we have a uneven number. So I think I'm going to take 2 on the top and 1 on the bottom and just combine them. And there it is. And there's our finished piece. I love how that little twig comes down in the center. I'm very happy with how that came out. It doesn't lay flat against the door, and I think partly because the stick is so deep, but I'm very happy with how it came out. Hope you'd enjoyed the video, and I hope you do some fun weaving. Until next time, this is Chris Van Hillo, the City of Tampa Visual Arts Team. See you soon.